last week I had the opportunity to practice with meet and exchange knowledge and skill with a 7th Dan practitioner of Aikido, and he told me a lot of what Sensei Ueshiba said and what Aikido teaches. And he said something that made me think about this. He said that Sensei said that breathe the breath of heaven and earth. Align yourself with the laws of heaven and earth, in accordance with the law of heaven and earth. And then swallow the opponent's ki, swallow the opponent's chi, and bind it with the law of heaven and earth. And then when you move in accordance with the law of heaven and earth, so will they. And that was his process for Aiki, of harmonizing with the opponent's ki. Which means you have your ki. I'm not fighting with you. I'm aligning myself with heaven and earth. Okay, you push me, and I swallow your ki, and now your ki is in me, and it's aligning with heaven and earth. And once that happens, I just move. I want to go forward, you just go back. So you push. So once you have this alignment and you swallow your ki, and we're one with heaven and earth, then whatever we want to have happen can happen. All right, thanks for your help. I want to talk about something interesting, something deep and interesting, which is heaven, men, earth alignment, and what it means for your yin and yang and for your Zhongding. Okay, so I just said a bunch of terms, so let's define all of these things. Okay, so Tai Chi is about Zhongding. That is your capacity to remain centered, not just in the physical balance, but centered mentally and spiritually, meaning that your mind is present and aware, and your intention connects to your body to manifest in your actions. So it makes sense that if any of those things are off, your performance would suffer. You ask any sports psychologist, they'll tell you that, oh yeah, all those things are greatly important. So Tai Chi is an art that really values these things. And at the same time, we value disrupting these things in others so that their performance is not as powerful or threatening as it otherwise would be. So if we talk about you, say, pushing me, so you're pushing me here, like this, push, 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 like that. So one of the ways you can disrupt someone's Zhongding, their centering, is by distracting them. So maybe if I wave my hands over here, or if I like tickle his nose, but that's a low-level physical way of disrupting Zhongding. We're gonna do something more sophisticated than that, and that is to say, we use Yin and Yang. Yang is the quality of Qi that when your body and others experience it, there's an uplifting, floating, expanding feeling that tends to uproot, push them up out of their roots. Yin is an inward condensing, shrinking-like feeling that when they experience it, their root gets pulled into your root. So in Yang, their root begins to be uplifted, pushed off by your root. So they're moving away from your root. In Yin, they're going to move towards your root. Okay, so let's look at that. So he pushes into me, push. So like this, be strong. So right now, he's applying force and he's anchored into his back leg, push hard, so that his leg is driving this force into my body. When I push harder, are you tired? Okay, so yeah. when I apply Yang, what happens is that root severs and his body actually pushes off of my root instead of his root. So if you think about physics, it would make sense if he's pushing off that leg and using force right here, push, that he would be generating whole body power towards me, and that would be threatening, right? But if he were to push off of me, like he's doing a push-up or pushing away from a wall or something like that, then he would be pushing himself back, right? So in effect, we're causing his body to do that. He's pushing to me, he's aligned with that. As I activate Yang, he's aligned with me. And then so now, the more he pushes, the more he's pushing off of me and going back. That's the effect of Yang. Pull. So when he pulls, he's anchored into his root and pulling me into his root or beyond, right? Pull. When I activate Yin, then what happens is his root shifts. So now pull. The more, see how he comes up? Because now he's actually anchored into my root, which at the moment is my front leg. And so he's pulling himself towards me, like he's pulling himself towards a rope or a ladder or something like that. So we're inverting the cause and effect. So if he was really centered, really zen, so to speak, okay, pull. So you're being very centered, and I activate a bit of Yin, like this. You're still centered, pull hard, see? So we're equally matched, no one's going anywhere. So he's maintaining his Zhongding, right? If for some reason Zhongding is disrupted, then he will get pulled. So how was it that I was able to overcome his Zhongding? So because my Zhongding is better than his. I'm more zen or more present and more stably so that's present. Because it's more than just being present, it's how well you can stay mindfully present in the face of loud noises, beautiful scenery, scary opponents, distractions, all of these kind of things. So like Gautama Buddha sat beneath a tree for however many days while people were trying to distract him and evil were trying to tempt him and scare him, and he stayed focused and reached enlightenment, right? That is the type of Zhongding that we are working towards, we are aspiring for. And so one of the ways to do that is to have something that you're focused upon that is powerful. So let's say we're doing this, and let's say it was like we have a bet for $1 million. It's like, oh, if I could just succeed in this, then my family and my descendants will be taken care of. I'm not going to lose this. That's the type of focus, the type of Zhongding that's very powerful. Buddha wanted to save mankind. That's a very powerful one. And so, abstractly speaking, what Tai Chi aligns with for Zhongding is heaven and earth, meaning there's a sense of upwardness that guides us, and we have this inclination towards heaven, and there's a groundedness that guides us downwards towards earth. So these are manifested in the way our posture is in Tai Chi movements, and also in what we do with the with Wang Yongquan's chaotic rings, or what the Phoenix Mountain we call the gates, which are our connections to the Tao and to the earth, to heaven and earth. So we're pushing here like this, and he's staying centered like this. So I could feel he's stable. I do a bit of yang. Oh, he lost it. I do a little bit of yang. He's still stable, right? I align heaven, earth, and see, this is what changed for that.
So instead of like an upward floating, it was just like a straightforward, like something filling up.
Yeah, something filling up, kind of unstoppable, right?
Yeah.
So let's have you do it. So I'm pushing on you, and you expand your yang. Expand. Okay, there you go. That's good. So you're looking down a little bit. If you strain your head,
right.
Okay, now expand your yang. Yeah, more. See, that's better. You feel that it's easier to do so when you're standing more upright. So physically aligning with heaven and earth gives you better alignment with heaven and earth. But spiritually aligning, so imagine you have a halo above your head, like an angel, and it's glowing and magnetically pulling you upwards to the source of sacredness. Imagine there's another point beneath your perineum that's guiding you and grounding you downwards. From there, now expand. Yeah, how's that different?
Oh, okay. So, yeah, there's like oppositional forces, pressure going away from each other.
Yeah.
Yin and yang.
Yeah, not just a physical pressure, but like a spiritual pressure, a consciousness that's going up and down at the same time. So feel that? Yes, that's much better. So that's aligning with heaven and earth. I was thinking of this because last week I had the opportunity to practice with meet and exchange knowledge and skill with a 7th Dan practitioner of Aikido, and he told me a lot of what Sensei Ueshiba said and what Aikido teaches. And he said something that made me think about this. He said that Sensei said that breathe the breath of heaven and earth. Align yourself with the laws of heaven and earth, in accordance with the law of heaven and earth. And then swallow the opponent's ki, swallow the opponent's chi, and bind it with the law of heaven and earth. And then when you move in accordance with the law of heaven and earth, so will they. And that was his process for Aiki, of harmonizing with the opponent's ki, harmonizing with the energy. He didn't say that you push me and I yield in perfect amount and trick you into this dance. He didn't say that back then. This is like pre-war, before 1942. He said, you push me, you have your ki. I'm not fighting with you. I'm aligning myself with heaven and earth. Okay, you push me, and I swallow your ki, and now your ki is in me, and it's aligning with heaven and earth. And once that happens, I just move. I want to go forward, you just go back. Come again, you push me, I align with heaven and earth, push. I swallow your ki, I want to rotate, you rotate. I want to rotate this way, you rotate this way. So you push. So once you have this alignment and you swallow your ki, and we're one with heaven and earth, then whatever we want to have happen can happen. And it's like, that is awfully like what Yang Jianhou passed down about Tai Chi, about how to capture someone's yi, how to align with heaven and earth, and all of these things. So I was like, oh wow, really is a certain similarity when your spiritual practice gets to a certain point. Because I guess as you get closer and closer to the sacred truth, then it gets closer, the truth becomes more and more simple. Who was it that said, I forgot who said this, some wise Chinese person, I think. He said, 说谎写一本书，说事实就一句话, something like that, which basically means when lying, you could write whole books. But when you tell the truth, it's just that one phrase, one sentence. So just like that, just a few sentences. Align with heaven and earth. Swallow their key and move in accordance with heaven and earth. Like that. So Zhongding, not clashing, accept, and then just move with these qualities. And it all comes together like that. Any thoughts, questions?
Yes, that's very profound. To bring it down to a different level, with boxing,
yeah,
there's this kind of protecting the chin.
Yeah.
So that can work as a detriment in many cases with Tai Chi Chuan practice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there a way that, I think I just answered my own question, but can,
Yeah, you could.
Can you break that posture and then go into that, upright posture?
So if you go far enough back in boxing history, like before 1900s, and when the bare knuckle boxers fought, right? So they fought like this.
Right, the old time pugilists,
Yeah.
upright.
Yeah.
So modern, it's like this, right, off angle and tucking the chin in.
Yeah, and there's people that fight like that too, like Conor McGregor fights like this.
Right.
Right. Machida and other karate fighters, they fight like this. So there's fighters that fight with the chin upright and have a good fighting record. So it doesn't mean it doesn't work. And then to some extent, the overly shelled up, it doesn't work that well in MMA because you're being opened up for being neck control, being kneed and things like that. So I don't know. Maybe we'll all get more spiritual and fight in a cage like this again.
That would be. It looks like it's going back to that, right?
Yeah.
More upright.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a trade-off. So what you lose in the physical protection, you gain in a spiritual awareness. And what is that worth? Well, I mean, these fighters that put their blood and their life on the line, they will show us, and I respect their efforts on that.
Okay, great. Thank you for, creating that framework, because now I see it.
Yeah,
I see exactly what you're talking about.
Great question. You asked it, so fantastic. Thanks for your questions and your help. Thanks for watching. See you next time.